பாரதம் எழுதவே இளைய பாரதம் எழுதவே புது உலக காவியம் எழுதவே இளைய பாரதம் எழுதவே புது உலக காவியம் எழுதவே மலையும் கோடல் எழுதவே புது மாற்றம் தோன்றிட வருகவே மலையும் கோடல் எழுதவே புது மாற்றம் தோன்றிட வருகவே இளைய பாரதம் எழுதவே எங்கள் இந்தியா இது எங்கள் இந்தியா எங்கள் இந்தியா இது எங்கள் இந்தியா சரி மகரி சரி 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 மகரி சரி 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 பாடும் குயிலும் பரதகலையும் பாரதன்மையின் வடிவங்களே இளைய பாரதம் எழுதவே புது உலக காவியம் எழுதவே இளைய பாரதம் எழுதவே
हस्ती की मेरे वतन की थोड़ी सी धूल मेरी हस्ती की मेरे वतन की थोड़ी सी खुशबू वाली से मस्त पवन की थोड़ी सी भौंकने वाली दग 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 सांसें जिनमें हो जुनू जुनू वो कुंडे लाल लहू की ये सब तो मिला मिला ले फिर रंग तो खिला खिला ले ये सब तो मिला मिला ले फिर रंग तो खिला खिला ले और मोह तुरंग बसंती यार मोह तुरंग बसंती मोह 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 मोह तुरंग बसंती
रंगीला रंगीला देश मेरा रंगीला देश रंगीला रंगीला देश मेरा रंगीला देश रंगीला रंगीला देश मेरा रंगीला देश रंगीला रंगीला देश मेरा रंगीला।
Every year on 15th August, Independence Day is celebrated in India, where people remember the long phase of our nation's independence from British rule. We should all be proud to be an Indian, and we should admire our fortune to have been born in the land of independent India. From 1857 to 1947, the lives of many freedom fighters and several decades of struggle were sacrificed. Let us watch a series of events that took place to earn our freedom that we all are enjoying right now. In the Sepoy Mutiny 1857. The Sepoy Mutiny, led by Mangal Pandey, an Indian soldier who raised his voice against the British and one of the most crucial events in India's road to achieve freedom. The reason behind this was the rumor spread that the cartridge from the new rifle were greased with pig and cow fat. This made offensive to both Muslims and Hindus against their religious beliefs. The mutiny properly began at Meerut on 10 May 1857. 85 members of Bengal Army had been jailed for refusing to use cartridge, were broken out of prison by their comrades. They ransacked the nearby military station and killed any Europeans they could find. This movement was the first war of independence. It served as the turning point as it led to the termination of East India Company's regime in Indian soil by Government of India Act 1858 passed on August. Jallianwala Bagh. The Jallianwala Bagh is one of the most brutal and gory events in India's history that resulted in the death of about 1,000 people. What accelerates the incident's gravity in the fact that British soldiers under acting Brigadier Regiland Diner had opened fire in front of mass of innocent unarmed people. It is already said by the British government that no public gathering was allowed. However, the public was not made aware of the same. The people who came in Bagh were celebrating Baishakti and they were not involved in any protest. Women and children were also a part of a crowd. The troops started firing before giving any warning. The enclosure had only one opening which British troops had covered. This led to such high numbers of casualty. The non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation movement was to be non-violent and to consist of Indians resigning their titles, boycotting government educational institutions, the courts, government service, foreign goods, and election, and eventually refusing to pay taxes. Non-cooperation was agreed to by the Indian National Congress at Calcutta in September 1920, launched that December. In 1921, the government confronted with the United India Front for the first time was visibly shaken, but a revolt by the Muslim Muflis of Kerala in August 1921, number of violent outbreaks alarmed moderate opinion. After an angry murdered police officer in village of Chauri Chaura in February 1922. Dandi March 1930. The 24-day march from March 12 to April 5, 1930, Gandhi and 80 Sadgharis set out on the foot for coastal village of Dandi, Gujarat, over 390 kilometers from their starting point at Sabarmati Ashram was a tax resistance campaign against the British salt monopoly. Based on Gandhi's principle of non-violence or Satyagraha, the march marked the inauguration of civil disobedience movement. The Dandi March was easily most significant organized movement against the British Raj after the non-cooperation movement of early 1920s. Creation of Indian National Army. Subhash Chandra Bose was an exceptional leader of Indian National Army. The main objective of INA was to fight the British Army with modern arms and weapons. It also aimed to organize Indian living abroad and plan an armed revolution against the British government. INA fought along with Japan against the British troops. The INA was formed from among the Indian prisoners of war. Subhash Chandra Bose shaped it to be an effective instrument for the freedom of India. The INA had close to 45,000 soldiers. In October 1943, Bose formed the provisional government that had been recognized by its Axis power during the Second World War. However, when the INA was just infilled, the Japanese troops had to withdraw their forces from border because their confrontation with the Americans in Pacific Ocean. The defeat of Japanese forces in Second World War also marked the defeat of INA in India. Though the INA did not succeed in its mission to liberate India, its contribution to Indian independence movement was immense. The INA inspired uprising in armed forces of the country. Partition of India and the independence of country in 1947. The Parliament of British passed the Indian Independence Acts. As per the Act, British India would be divided into Pakistan and India. The monarch gave assent on July 18, 1947, and it came to an effect on August 14 in Pakistan and August 15 in India. The end of British rule was something many had cause to celebrate. After centuries of exploitation and colonial rule, India was finally free to determine its own government. Several great freedom fighters struggled and spent their entire lives only to gain freedom. The sacrifices of all our freedom fighters like Bhagat Singh, Kundiram Bose and Chandra Shekhar Azad, who lost their lives at an early age just to fight for their country, can never be forgotten. Gandhiji was the great Indian figure who gave Indians a great lesson in non-violence. We are also lucky to have been given the land of peace and happiness by our forefathers.
Flag salute. Order. Flag song.